Qutb al-Din, Ahmad Waliullah ibn Abd al-Rahim, better known as Shah Waliullah Dihlawi, was born in the Indian district of Muzaffarnagar into a prominent Muslim family of religious scholars and Sufi luminaries. His father, Shah Abd al-Rahim, was a notable Islamic scholar and exponent of Sufism, who traced his ancestry back to the Prophet through one of his grandsons, and also considered famous Indian Sufis such as Sheikh Ahmad Sirhindi. Shah Waliullah spent his early years in Muzaffarnagar and then moved to Delhi with his father, where the latter had established a religious seminary in which he taught Islamic sciences. Shah Waliullah therefore grew up in Delhi under the care of his father and committed the entire Quran to memory by the age of 7. He then studied Arabic, Persian, and traditional Islamic sciences, including Quranic exegesis, prophetic traditions, jurisprudence, and logic. After completing his undergraduate studies at 15, he married, but unfortunately his wife died a few years later. During this period, his father introduced him to Sufism, and he received initiation into the Chishtiya, Naqshbandiya, and Qadiriya orders. When Shah Waliullah was only 16, his father died and suddenly the full operational responsibilities of the religious seminary fell on his shoulders. For the next decade, he remained preoccupied with the administration of the seminary, and in his spare time he pursued advanced studies and research into the Islamic sciences, philosophy, mysticism, logic, history, aspects of traditional medicine, and mathematics. Shah Waliullah then received initiation into the Shadhiliya Sufi order. As a perceptive thinker and gifted intellectual, Shah Waliullah preferred to analyze and evaluate issues. What he saw during his sojourn in Arabia confirmed his suspicion that the problems which confronted the Muslims in India were not unique. The Muslims of Arabia, as well as other Islamic nations, also suffered from the same predicament. Convinced that the problems which Muslims faced at the time could not be addressed without reformulating Islamic thought in a systematic and holistic way, focusing on both the material and spiritual spheres of life, Shah Waliullah hoped to develop a fresh and integrated understanding of Islamic traditions in the light of his existential condition. As a multidisciplinary thinker, Shah Waliullah tackled these complex and overlapping social, political, economic, cultural, philosophical, and religious issues in more than 40 books which he authored in both Arabic and Persian. Just as Sheikh Ahmad Sirhindi was the religious regenerator of his age, so Shah Waliullah was considered to be the religious regenerator of the 18th century. Some of his well-known books include The Divine Explanations, Flashes, Illuminations, Curing the Hearts, and Full Rising Moons. In these and many other books, he presented a systematic analysis of historical, philosophical, theological, and mystical thought, and thereby hoped to harmonize the different strands of Islamic thought to create a unified worldview. Thus, for instance, he systematically examined Sheikh Ahmad Sirhindi's mystical concept of unity of being in perception or unity of witnesses, unity of being, or monism, and in so doing he showed how, behind the form of the language, there existed a neutral ground where these seemingly conflicting theories of mystical experience actually converged. Shah Waliullah was convinced that Islam provided a comprehensive modus vivendi which integrated all aspects of human life, including the spiritual, psychological, and biological nature of human relationships, without overlooking the political, economic, cultural, and aesthetic dimensions. The integrated concept of life envisaged by Islam had not only become completely eroded in Muslim India in both theory and practice, but to Shah Waliullah, Indian Muslims had lost touch with the original, pristine sources of Islam. That is why he translated the Quran into Persian, despite the opposition of the conservative ulama, religious scholars, so as to make the Quran more accessible to the masses. At a time when the Indian Muslims became surrounded by nothing but doom and gloom, Shah Waliullah's refreshing and enlightening books lifted their hearts and spirits. His reformist ideas and encyclopedic knowledge of Islam, coupled with his analytical approach to Islamic principles and practices, influenced generations of prominent Islamic scholars, thinkers, and reformers across the subcontinent and elsewhere, including Khan Bahadur and Sayyid Ahmad Barelvi. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.